see here, good. The stock battery is 2015 JK-U, and in preparation for adding additional accessories, I'll be adding the Quadratec heavy duty battery terminals. Actually currently waiting on my new heavy duty bumper to arrive, and once that's here, then I'll be installing a Smitty built 10,000 pound winch onto it and then onto the Jeep. And so I need these auxiliary terminals so I can hook up that winch. And here's the process. Here's the terminal. You got 2 bus bars and then 2 auxiliary studs for attaching it. And the kit also comes with D.O.G terminal protectors. It's supposed to cut down on the corrosion and prolong your battery life. Whether that actually works or not, who knows, but I'll put them on just in case. Anytime that you can save some money, the better. So I just loosen the one there and switch sockets here. And then you got 2 terminals here for accessories. You got a hole here for going onto the terminal itself. And then you use one of these posts, and that screws on there. And then we'll tighten it down. And that is a 5/8 socket or 16 millimeter. I chose to go with the 5/8 just because it is the socket I have is a 6-sided, whereas my 16 millimeter was the 12 point. So I chose to go that route. Take that off. And I can open up the this. Let's see, get that prepped. I was always taught that when you're dealing with your battery and having to disconnect, that you always disconnect your negative first. That's the way the instructions say also, because in this case the negative's on this side, positive's over here, and getting any wrenches or anything in here, if the negative was still connected and you were to hit any metal over here, they're going to short things out and could possibly cause some issues. So it's always best to disconnect your negative first. So take that off, and now I'll slip the red terminal protector on. Put it back on the post. And this was a 10 millimeter. Yeah, all these are 10 millimeters, including the ones on the new bus bars. Now, and the instructions say to disconnect the green wire, but I'm not seeing a green wire. I actually have 2 accessory wires connected to that terminal already, but it's this outside one closest to the center of the battery that you want to disconnect. Take the wires off, and then we'll take this other bus bar, put it right over that stud, and of course I just lost my extension with the socket. Well, I found the socket and the extension. Those things happen. reaching down in the front of the engine trying to reach it. I nearly got my arm stuck, but it fell out underneath, and we're on our way. Well, I'll tighten up that stud. Alright, nice and snug. I'll switch back. Alright, so these are 10mm. These are basically machine screws. Kind of a pet peeve of mine is people calling machine screws screws. There's a difference. At least the way I've been kind of told over the years. Basically, machine screw was got a blunt end on it instead of a tapered, like what you would put into wood or whatever that has a pointed tip, for self-tapping and such. So I'm gonna put these 3 wires back, but it'll be putting right on top of that stud that I use for tightening the bus bar down. Might as well put them all back on the same unit, and then that leaves 2 points still for me to be able to use later on for whether it be the winch, the winch will get attached to one of those. And damn, I'm not sure what that's for, but I just broke one of my terminals for one of those wires, so I'll just have to get that fixed here in a little bit. So now that that one is taken care of, now I can put the black terminal protector on. Slip that right over top and put the terminal right over. And tighten it down. Make sure all these are tight so they don't vibrate out as I'm driving down the road and such. Yeah, that terminal broke off completely, but that's an easy enough fix. Well, that was a very basic install. Really nothing to it. Got an extra nut here. One thing you want to keep in mind when you are attaching accessories to any of these terminals, you don't want to use this bolt or the matching on the positive or negative. That is a tapered deal. I don't know exactly how it works, but the way it's going in there, it's tapered from my understanding and causing it to tighten up the clamp on the post. And from what I've heard, if you use those to be attaching ring terminals and such, that it can mess it up and not allow it to tighten completely. So you could end up having slightly loose. You may not be able to tell from the naked eye, or you may not be able to really move it that easy, but it could cause it to where it's not a good solid termination there on the post, which then could not only cause you issues with your accessories not working, but also the engine itself. And because everything is computer controlled nowadays, so if the computer's not getting the voltage and all that stuff properly, then it's going to affect everything. But that is it for now, and we should be installing a winch and bumper here very soon. Until next time.